I was getting nervous, huh? We live? I think we're live. I now can't hear you.
I was on mute. Oh, we're live.
Here we
Zero
are.
people. No.
Oh, yeah. I had to give it a few minutes.
Let's give it a minute. Tom, do you want to get some more product placement in the background, or?
I've really got that way. Isn't it? I've really got to put that on the wall, man. It's gonna look.
We got 8 people. We got 8 people joining us. There we go. Yeah.
Nice.
I can't see the comments on this, so Tom, you're gonna have to. Oh, there we go. Comments here. Hello, Patrick, Matthew. How you doing, mate?
Oh, nice one.
Palmy, how you doing?
Palmy, straight in with a question.
Reese. Hello, folks. Didn't see the chat box. So this is our first time doing a live stream, so you're gonna have to be a bit patient with us. But welcome. Yeah. Hope you're all doing well. All right, Stephen, how you doing?
We'll give it a few. We'll give it obviously, yeah, like 3, 4. We'll give it to like 5 past at least, just to give people the chance to get on.
Yeah. Wow, we're nearly up to double digits. Nearly 10 people.
Nice. Oh, that's Cecil's here. Well.
Parmeets from Twitter. Nice to see you.
We've got a few honest FBA members in here. We didn't plant them, but
yeah, represent as well. 10. We're in double digits, man. This is crazy.
That naughty horse in the background. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't fucking.
It's not. He can't claim it. He's in an Airbnb. Oh, Mr. Jansen Smith, another FBA.
Jansen Smith.
No one go on Jansen's channel. You don't want to be going. You don't learn anything.
Gurus. Oh, Joe J. Oh no.
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah. So, all right. Hang on. I'm not sharing my screen yet, am I?
No.
All right, everyone. What we on? We're on 12 people. 2 minutes in. Should we kick it off, Tom?
I reckon we wait another couple of minutes.
Another couple of minutes. All right.
Yeah, may as well.
So we're not explaining what we're going to do to everyone. So we're going to look like a right couple of amateurs, aren't we? Like we don't know what we're doing on our first live stream.
It depends if we're gonna. Yeah, we're gonna have to say it again, aren't we? We do it, but go on. You rattle through it now.
What with when the other people join? You mean?
Yeah.
Ah, that's true. Yeah. He's here to steal all your viewers. You know, sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Let's do some radio buffer. What'd you do today, Alex? Anything interesting that you can tell us about?
I went for a little scrambled eggs number on the corner down near me, and went for a walk. Then came back and started planning what I'm going to be doing over the next few months. Got 4 weeks left in Argentina, and then I'm back in Europe, baby. Back on home soil. Can't wait.
Alex is coming back to Europe. For those of you that don't know, he's in Argentina and I'm in Barcelona. He's coming back to Europe, and then I go to Costa Rica, which is good. So we're going to miss each other. We got about a week.
What a coincidence.
All right.
Yeah, I can't wait, to be honest. It's getting it's kind of moving into like autumn. I don't know the seasons. What are we in now? Spring? It's just coming out of summer. So what's after summer?
Yeah, autumn, mate. Jesus.
Autumn.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like dark at 6:15. Yeah, traveling / working. The old digital nomad thing. Yeah.
What did it say? Digital nomads.
That is literally. Well, I've actually made some friends while I've been over. It's been pretty fruitful in that. Well, for me anyway, like 2 people. But there's quite a decent sort of like digital nomad community in Argentina. Met a few Amazon sellers. Billy Flips, shout out Billy Flips if he's watching. Don't think he is. Billy Flips actually messaged me this morning that he'd lost his Airbnb keys, so he went on a night out, got home, and couldn't get in his flat. So he was sat in a cafe at 6 a.m. because he didn't have his keys. Yeah.
Not ideal.
Why you left the UK? Because the UK sucks, man. People like Jansen Smith still live in the UK. like absolute losers. No, I'm kidding. I left the UK because I don't like the weather. Don't really like many things about the UK, but I left the UK for a bit of an adventure and just never went back.
I'd say, pardon me, once you leave, like we both left to Barcelona, and it's very difficult to go back again. Basically, that's kind of. Then once you feel it feels a bit odd when you go back because you get used to blue skies every day, and that's honestly one of the main things. And obviously, look at our skin color. We're pretty olive of the complexion, so we need the sun.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we get going then?
Yeah. Should we? Basically, what we're going to do then, everyone, almost up to 20 people, is we're going to dive into our recent results. We'll show you our recent results, and then we'll kick off the Q&A. So if you want to ask us anything about Amazon, private label, life, traveling, anything you want, we can do that. And then we've got a little bit of like a presentation on how we're planning on scaling from 7 figures to 8 figures, because we recently made our goals even bigger. So we're going to talk about how we're going to grow our existing brand, hopefully to 8 figures in the next couple of years. And then we're going to do, Tom's going to do a little bit of a chat about some insights that we got from a guy we've been speaking to recently who at one point was doing $40 million a year on Amazon. So he's big time, big time. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the insights there. So should we kick into presenting results? Somebody was like giving me grief recently about not refreshing the screen when we show our results. They were like, "Oh, fake! You're a fake guru." So I'm going to refresh it. So far in 2023, we've done. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Let me know if you can't see it properly. Tom, keep an eye on the comments because I can't see them. So far in 2023, we've done $750,000, just over, in revenue, about 180K in profit. Our goal forecast this year is 2 million, which hopefully we're going to hit. You can see kind of our sales growth here from when we started in August of 2020. So if you watch any of our videos, YouTube shorts and stuff, you'll see, that we started in August 2020. So that we were pretty flat for, a while. And then we exploded last year. In our niche, it's pretty seasonal. So we kind of have this uptrend and then downtrend and then this uptrend again. We've recently gone out of stock on 2 of our best sellers. We should be back in stock in the next 10 days or so, maybe 2 weeks. These are our current results, just over 180K for 2023 so far. Last month, we did just under 70K profit, which I think was our best month ever to date. And yeah, we could have done even more if we hadn't have stocked out towards the end.
Yeah, we slowed sales down, didn't we? Because we, but obviously, one thing we always bang on about, if you follow us on Twitter or on YouTube or in Honest FBA, like not going out of stock is like almost the number one important thing once your product is up and running on Amazon, and from launch basically. So we went very, very heavy with inventory back end of last year to be ready for this kind of explosion. That took us to number one within our kind of sub niche. And I think our overall BSR in patio, lawn and garden, I think we got down to about 350 at our peak, which was insane. I think we were doing a couple of 100 units a day of the product. So we went big, but we didn't go quite that big. It was kind of even more than we thought. So we slowed sales down. That first product's back in stock actually in about 4 or 5 days. So we've had about 2 to 3 weeks of slowing down sales, and we finally kind of stocked out. And then the other one was our custom product that we launched in February, our first fully custom product. That went incredibly well. It's probably the best launch we ever had because it really had good product market fit. We actually had an issue. Some of you guys might have seen, again, if you followed us, that we had an issue with the production. We missed something, which was our fault on the quality control, which is why it's unbelievably important. So we had quite a lot of 1-star reviews come in. We turned off all of our PPC, just kind of maximize profits, and they still sold like crazy well. I think we had 3.5 out of 5, which is terrible on Amazon. So we've sold through 5,000 units of them now, fix the design, and then we're going to be back in stock with them in about 4 weeks for kind of a relaunch, which we're pretty confident on. And then the next custom product we have is a second fully custom product that's going to be to market in about 7 weeks, we hope. And that one we've got massive hopes for. It's taken almost a year to get that to market, which has been super slow, but it should be kind of a 6-figure a month product if it goes well.
Yeah, but you can see like last year in the whole of 2022, we did about $970,000 in sales, and then already in the first, just under 5 months of 2023, we've done like not too far off that. So when you launch new products and you're in a niche that's like growing as well, then as long as you've got the cash flow, you can really like Amazon is very scalable. Are we getting any questions, Tom? Because I can't see a comment.
Comment from Palmy was only fake guru is John Elder. We'll skip past that, but yeah, agree.
He's not even a fake guru. He's just an idiot.
Jansen said John Elder equals Toad. Anyway, we'll leave John Elder to it. So, and Joe's giving the brief as well. But right, Joe's asked, you're going to relaunch on a new listing or hope to build up a better review rating? So we've had a lot of back and forth about this internally. Spoke to a few kind of experienced sellers as well. So as we said, like this product, it ranked so stupidly well. We were ranking for massive keywords, like number 1 in our niche organically with 0 PPC, which was really interesting because we hadn't done that previously. So we were a bit concerned, like if we relaunch completely under a new ASIN, will it go as well, basically? But after speaking to the $40 million seller and a few other big sellers, it's like the conversion rate enhancement you get from being 4 stars, 4.5 stars, 5 stars. And to be honest, I think it's definitely a 4.5 star to 5-star product. So in theory, as long as our conversion rate's the same, we'll rank for all the keywords again. So we're going to launch it under a brand new ASIN. And we've also got a couple of color variations we're going to launch at the same time as well.
Yeah. Because I think we're at like 140 reviews now, but the average review score is 3.5. So it would probably take us a long time and it might not even be possible for us to get over 4.4 now at this point, or it might take 12 months or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're almost just treating it like a completely, new launch, basically.
I mean, it's definitely not a blessing in disguise, but it's good that we know it's got product market fit and we're still kind of staying ahead of our competition. So we worked on it very quickly to fix the problem, and we're super confident now when we launch it, we can go like hyper aggressive. We made a massive order because we know it'll fly, basically. So we got all the assets ready, everything's ready to go. We know what keywords we convert great for already, so we can just attack them as well, which is kind of pretty handy. It's a bit of a kind of like a leg up on the launch. Next question, Stephen Booth said, just want to say appreciate you doing this. Firstly, no worries, mate. Would you say it's better to start in the UK before selling in the US like you guys? I'm in the UK and it all seems a bit daunting. Alex, do you want to take that one?
So this is something that we've actually kind of changed our stance on a little bit. We used to be huge advocates for everybody selling in the US. What we encourage people to do now is look in both markets. But the reality is that the products that you can choose to sell, they're massively dictated by your budget. So most people don't have $20, $30, $40, $50,000 as to spend on their first product. Most people maybe have $8,000 to $10,000 in total, and quite often there's more niches that are good for that size budget in the UK. So what we would say is don't just look at one. Look in the US and the UK, but you need to really understand how your budget impacts what you can launch. Because if you go back and watch some of my recent videos or some of my recent shorts, I talk a lot about how one of the mistakes people make is they try and launch into niches that are way too big for their budget. So they just don't have enough money to keep up with the sales velocity. So people are actually way better going after much smaller niches rather than trying to go after these huge niches because they think they're going to make loads of money because it's a huge niche with huge demand, but it doesn't really work that way. So in short, look in the US and the UK. There's not really one answer to it because it depends on your budget. There might be a niche that you find in the US that looks really, really good. But you might work out in order to do that niche properly, you need $20,000, and maybe you don't have $20,000. So you look at that niche in the UK, and in the UK, maybe you only need £6,000 or £7,000, and then it makes more sense to go into the UK. So yeah.
To just add a little bit to that as well, one thing which we still believe to be true about the US and the UK is there are niches that exist in the US that don't even exist in the UK. So there's like sub niches within niches that exist as well that are pretty massive, or even like they can still fit your budget. So definitely look at both. There's literally no difference between selling in the UK and the US in terms of the work you're doing. Plus, you're only going to get the samples sent to you, right? So once you've got your samples approved and you've ordered a product, it doesn't matter where you sell it because you're gonna ship it to the US anyway. So for us, it's the whole point of the business model is you can do it from anywhere in the world. So it's super easy. Amazon handle all the sales tax as well. So if you've got a UK limited company, it's really easy just to open a seller account in the US. Amazon collects all the sales tax. There's a treaty between the US and the UK, so you're not going to get taxed twice as a corporation. You just pay corporation tax in the UK. So anything that it does feel a bit daunting. When we first started out, we were looking at we launched in the UK with one product, one brand, and then launched in the US with a second, the one that we now are focusing on. And that was we hadn't even really considered it, and then we kind of realized like why not look at the US? It's massive and there's loads of opportunity there. So yeah, I definitely look at both in short, but it all comes down to your budget basically.
Yeah.
Next question then. So Parmeet said, how is the competition in your niche? Many competitors, several reviews. So I'll say a few bits and Alex can jump in as well. So basically, yeah, I mean, it's competitive for sure. The first product we ever launched, I did a thread on this last week, I think, there was one other seller of this product on Amazon, which was pretty unheard of. We used Helium 10 to find that. They had decent consistent sales history. It's an evergreen overall niche, but the niche, like this is kind of a product within that big niche. We targeted that product first just to kind of we thought it would be an easy win because they were bad at Amazon. And then when we really dove into the niche, we saw massive opportunity. We got a hold of cash as fast as we could and we attacked it. So yeah, some of the products we're going into now and that we'll move on to later on in this video as well with us kind of wanting to scale up. Some of those niches are very competitive. Yeah, six figures a month products. Like you need massive funds to do it. In terms of like the way we look at competitors and reviews, we don't really care too much about it. As long as you have the budget to attack it properly, you can go into a niche and you can rank. As long as you've got a good product and you've got a great listing, you tick all the fundamentals basically. Then the things people say about low reviews, high demand, all that stuff, like I'll let Alex kind of fire off on that in a minute, but we think it's kind of bullshit, to be honest. It's just things that it's like a buzzword people say within the space because it sounds easy, but then everyone looks at the same stuff and then everyone launches the same stuff and then those niches become saturated. Al, do you want to jump on anything else there?
No, yeah, we don't really look at reviews, just to mirror what Tom said.
Yeah.
I could go into it a bit deeper, but yeah, that's it's probably one of the most ridiculous things that other gurus say is filter for products that have low reviews because it means that those niches are low competition. I think people massively overestimate the impact that reviews have. Like customers will buy your product if you have 0 reviews because it's obvious that it's a new product on Amazon most of the time. Like obviously if you've got 20 reviews and 10 of them are 1-star reviews, then that's going to impact your sales. But if you've only got 20 reviews and someone else has got 5,000 reviews, if you offer something that 5,000 review product doesn't offer, or if you come across as being higher value, whether it's perceived value or you've actually improved the product, then people will buy yours. They don't. If you think about how you shop for things on Amazon, it's not only about the reviews. Most people are a bit skeptical about Amazon reviews now anyway, because there's all these news stories about them being faked. And so every product that we've launched even with 0 reviews, we've managed to, do really well straight away. And every competitor that we've seen come into our niche, they do exactly the same. Like So there's this idea that everything is about reviews, and the number of reviews correlates directly with how high competition the niche is, and we just don't really think that's true. What's more an indication for us of how competitive a niche is the price. If everybody has got a rock bottom price and you can't get anywhere near that price, that's going to be difficult. That makes it high competition. That's usually in niches that are like highly commoditized. And then also the quality of the listings. So some niches, like the niche that we went into with our very first product, it was super low competition because there was only a couple of people, maybe even one person selling that product. It was a very low demand niche. It wasn't a big niche. And the quality of the listings that we were competing against was super low. So that was why we had great success very early on. We didn't go into one of these high competition niches where, we were competing against huge companies, big brands with super high quality listings. So I would just, encourage you to look beyond number of reviews and look at the quality of the listings, the people that you're competing against, how close you can be to them in terms of price and stuff like that. Just take a little bit more of a holistic sort of approach to it.
Cool. We've got questions firing in now, so I'll rattle through some of these. So Boxer said, Boxer's comment is on all our videos, so I appreciate you coming, mate. You're a good, you're
Boxers,
a long-term.
Boxers in the community.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, it's Esan, I think. I really apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. But
so he said, what do you do? I guess he means, what do you do when you find a product if the main keyword is the only keyword which has a decent search volume, which is relevant? So I guess what he means with that is what? So if the product only has basically one keyword with volume behind it, that's quite tricky, to be honest. If the keyword is extremely descriptive, so if, for example, people sell, like, let's say this AirPod case, I think like iPhone accessories, for example, is extremely difficult. If the product has more direct keywords, it's better. But long story short, it's difficult if there's only one keyword, because every sale obviously is coming through that. It's great. One of the best ways to win on Amazon is understanding keywords and understanding SEO properly. So doing proper keyword analysis, building up a master keyword list, building your listing around that completely. So your title, your bullet points, your PPC campaigns, you're targeting specific keywords, but we like to go pretty wide with our targeting. So we think with our niche, we are doing more work than most people to understand every relevant keyword. And that allows us to index wider on the platform. So we're getting sales and we're bidding on other keywords that our competition don't know they even exist. So yeah, you basically I'd say it's better to see more than just one. I think it can be a bit tricky if there's only one keyword which is relevant for the product.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably other keywords as well. They just might not be super high volume. And again, I think this is one of the things about not really listening to a lot of Amazon gurus on YouTube and stuff is they put this idea in people's head that you need to be finding keywords that have got specific search volumes. You know what I mean? Like if there might be one keyword that's got 1,000 searches per month, there might be 100 others that have got 200 searches, and you're not really looking at those because you're thinking they're not high volume enough. But if you're happy to go into a much smaller niche, those keywords collectively are enough. And if there's people in that niche that are getting sales that match your target revenue, then that's fine. But I think this misconception comes from people saying things like you need to find a keyword that has got a niche where that's got 4 keywords that have got over 5,000. And it's nonsense because it's all relative to your budget. Our first product, it cost us $6,000 to launch it. And I can't remember what the search volume was on the keywords, but it wasn't full of huge keywords because if it had been, we wouldn't have had enough money to launch it. So everything really comes down to the total market size in terms of revenue. You just need to check that if there's a top seller in there, you need to check that they're not a big brand that's getting a lot of branded searches. So check the keywords using Cerebro. And then you also need to check that they're not really, are they getting a ton of traffic off Amazon? What you can do is you can search the product. Let's say it's like a baby product. If you search it and if you find it on a lot of external websites and those sites send the traffic to Amazon, then that might be a way that they're getting sales. So you can check into it. You do want to make sure that the people that are in the market, in the niche, they're actually getting those sales directly from Amazon. But yeah, obviously the smaller the niche, the smaller the volumes are going to be. So it might be that there are other keywords, you're just kind of overlooking them because the volume's not too big.
Cool. Right, I'm gonna wrap. We've got like 10 questions now, maybe more than that.
We can go
through. So
you don't want to go.
I'm gonna rattle through. Yeah, go through. I'm gonna rattle through. I'll answer these next two, just they're quick, and then I'll jump throw over to you for the next one after that. So,
all right, sweet.
Stephen asked, being based in Barcelona, do you sell in Spain too, or is it mainly UK and the USA? So Alex initially sold in Spain when we first kind of met and discussed Amazon, like working together. We then tried that product in the UK, had some issues. There's actually a video on this channel, on our YouTube channel, about our first product. You can go back and watch it. It is a men's wallet. And we kind of explain what the thought process was there and the issues we had with it. But now we basically just sell in the US. So yeah, like we said earlier in the call, if you didn't see it, it's super easy. You don't need to be there, obviously. That's the whole beauty of this model. So we sell in the US, we sell a little bit in Canada, which we want to go into a bit more. And we did a bit in the UK, but we haven't really focused on it at the moment. But for us, the next step's probably Canada, maybe the UK, and then Germany is a market we've looked at as well. Next question was someone called Jack said, "Hey guys, there are so many new Chinese sellers with the same product in your niche now. Do you think the niche will work on long term?" So we don't disclose publicly what our brand is because we have an investor and it's not fair on him. But I guess you must know what it is. To be honest, we think we're fine because we keep innovating. So our product, the product we launched, which I think you maybe you're referring to, I'll run through the first two. First one we launched, we were the second seller on Amazon. Like I said earlier, there was one guy. There's now 40 plus sellers. We are the highest priced of anyone. We get the most sales of anyone. We're the best ranked of anyone. So we kind of got out ahead of that. That's been going for two and a half years now. Everything's got a product life cycle on Amazon. So who knows if it'll last forever, but that's been extremely consistent and it's grown for us kind of year on year, it's grown really well. So not too worried there. Other products, one of them got copied. We did innovate a product. We didn't get a patent on it because this was 2021 when we were doing it. We didn't really have the budget. So designed an idea. There was copycats, but again, we were this is the product we got to 350 BSR this year. So we were well out ahead of everyone. The copycats are, there's a lot of Chinese listings. That doesn't really bother us too much because they're terrible at Amazon as a rule. Our quality is a lot higher. So, and then we've now innovated and launched a new product. So the way we're going is innovating products to keep ahead of everyone. We've got design patent applications in on these products so people can't copy us. And that's kind of the way we're going to safeguard the business. And we're tackling more and more complex products and products that take a bigger budget, which is going to, in theory, provide a bit more of a moat as well. All right. So next question, Matthew Agar asks, if you have a product in the UK, then move to the US, does the US listing benefit from a new honeymoon period in the US?
As far as I know, it does, yeah, because it's a completely new platform, right? So they don't have any data for it on that platform. I don't want to say 100% yes because I would be lying because nobody's ever asked me that question. But just from the reason they give you a honeymoon period is because it's a new it's a new product and they want to get data on it quickly, and they don't have any data in the US. So I would assume that yes, it does. Yeah. Right, so Joe said thanks for doing this. Yeah, cheers, Joe. I guess he's gone now. Cheers, Joe. Right, sorry, I'm not reading it as I go. Right, so Tony from Finland has asked, which one are you looking more for, ROI or profit? I would say when you're starting out, this very much comes down to your budget. I think at the start, I think ROI is incredibly important if you have a set amount of budget you want to build a business with. So let's say you have $10,000, then the ROI needs to be super healthy. If you can't then bring in any external cash to the business, it needs to be 80, 90, 100+% ROI. So you can organically grow the business. So you can afford to make the reorders. You can afford to keep up with your growth. It's obviously mega cash intensive, the business. So
I mean, generally, obviously, the higher ROI you got, the higher your profit margins are. So they obviously correlate in that way. If you get, this sounds a bit obvious, but if you get up to kind of 200, 300, 400% ROIs, which are possible, to be honest. Like we've got a few products now that are up towards like over 300% ROI. It becomes a head of a lot easier. Like the cash just really starts to build up, and you can do it. There's still products you can find that have those ROIs. So I would really focus on that. As a business, as you grow and have multiple products, one of the benefits is you can afford to launch products. Some products that have a lower ROI and some that have a higher ROI, because obviously overall you're just looking at it as a business. And then obviously at that scale as well, you might have lending options, you might have investors, you can be sitting on cash. So that's what I say early on. It depends on your position. Profit obviously is hyper important. I'd say we didn't focus that much on profit. We focus on growth more at the start. I say growth is really important. If your long-term goal is to build a brand and get an exit, then the whole point is growth, right? You're not going to put any cash out of the business, ideally. So I'd focus on just growth as fast as you can, which ROI really helps with. And then longer term, let's say when you come up towards an exit, then you obviously focus on profit and get the highest multiple that you can. Next question I'll throw to you, Alex, is do you outsource your product listen or do you do it yourself? I think maybe that was meant to say product research. So let's say, do you outsource product research or do you do it yourself?
Product research, we do ourselves. We have hired some VAs to help with like the initial part of it, but we mostly do that. I think maybe he might mean product listing as well.
Oh God, yeah, he definitely did. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
So yeah, now product listing, we outsource it. Yeah, I think like you should be investing in getting a designer to do it.
Do you mean
unless you're a designer?
So photography, yeah, professional photography. We're like and designers, 100% pay the money. That's one of the best ways to win on Amazon. In terms of like keyword research, writing the listings, all that kind of stuff, planning the listings, planning the images, we do all of that in-house. We still do that in-house. That's again, like especially early on, you definitely want to understand everything you're targeting, and you want to really understand your product. So there are services on like Fiverr that could build you a listing. I'm not a big fan of that, to be honest with you. I think you should do it yourself, especially early on. And yeah, maybe you can bring it in-house and have someone do it for you as you grow. But yeah, don't just outsource. In my opinion, don't just outsource everything from the start, because you're not going to have an understanding of your product and your listing that you need to have.
Yeah.
Eshan said you pronounced it correct. If I just pronounced it correct as well.
Awesome.
Stephen Booth said, how do you get in the community you mentioned, please? So this way? Yeah. Honest FBA. We'll post can we post a comment right now? I actually don't know if we can. If you go to honest-fba.com, you can book a call. So there's two options. We'll get to this in the end of the call, but there's two options for the course. One of them has all the community involved, called Scale. So we like to speak to everyone who wants to apply for that. So if you book a call with myself or Alex via the calendar, and we can have a chat with you and see if it's kind of a good fit. So man, how you getting on, mate? He said, how do you go about products that require certifications? Example, a product in baby category that requires FDA, BPA free and CPSIA certificate. Would you recommend launching this as your second or third product? Firstly, someone, sorry, I know you DM'd me this morning, but I was out running a 5-kilometer race, so I forgot to reply. Sorry, just remember.
Selfish. You should have put this first.
So yeah, how do you go about it? Al, do you want to take that or me?
Yeah, I'll go. I mean, basically, you just get approval. Like all of these things can be done. They take a bit of time. It's obviously a bit of a barrier to entry, which is a good, generally products that are harder to launch. That means if you do launch them, it's generally a bit of a moat around it. Most people won't really go into those products or whatever. It's, all you need to do is follow the procedures, follow what Amazon tell you in terms of the documents that they need. Would I recommend launching it as a second or a third product? It completely depends. Like if it's a good product opportunity, then yeah, why not? All you need to do is make sure you have the necessary approval for what Amazon need, and that's it. I wouldn't overcomplicate it. Yeah. It completely depends on the product.
One thing, someone you want to consider with that, which is really important, is check the insurance for this. So baby products, every product on Amazon, once you hit $10,000 of disbursements a month, which means Amazon paying you that much money, you have to supply a insurance document basically saying you've got liability insurance. Some products and some niches are more expensive than others. So electrical and baby, for example, is a bit more expensive. So I would check. There's websites you can go to that are insurance brokers. Just check that. I would get a quote for it basically and check you can be covered, because you don't want to get to that point and then get hit with a kind of an issue that you can't solve. So Helpmate says, what are your thoughts on Amazon auto finish? Like, due to this many keywords getting high SV spikes, how can we leverage it? I think this may be what this Jake was saying on Twitter. Is that like when so I'm auto completing on the searches and seeing huge spikes? It definitely happens, right? Like we've seen it with some keywords where Amazon seem to push them and then they fall off again.
Yeah, I think like one thing that you can try and do is I don't know if there's a way that you can get alerted to like certain keywords when they spike in volume, but if you can track which keywords it happens with, then obviously if there's a huge spike in volume for a certain keyword, then you might want to be bidding higher in PPC on that keyword. You might, if it's a keyword that you don't convert too well for, then maybe not. But like you want to, the only thing I can think of really is trying to react to it. So if it's a keyword that you weren't really bidding on before, and suddenly it gets a ton more people searching for it, then yeah, maybe you do want to bid on it higher. But I don't know if there's a way with like Helium 10 where you can set up like an alert if a keyword goes over a certain volume or something like that. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, it's best to keep an eye on it and see. It's kind of maybe a bit of a manual task, but definitely if you do spot it before other people, then amazing, a great way to kind of ride the wave. But then also on the flip side of that, just you probably want to check the volumes regularly just to see if it kind of stops being an auto suggested word, and then it might kind of really tumble down. And maybe there's another word that is like the hot word at that point, the hot keyword. So just bear that in mind as well. So RJ said, do you guys reckon that an influx of sellers during COVID has potentially brought a ton more competition in a lot of niches? I mean, there was definitely an influx. We started during COVID, so we're an example of that. There's definitely more competition. I say everyone on Amazon, if any of you guys have followed FBA for a couple of years, everyone wishes that they joined 3 years before they did in the Amazon heyday. But end of the day, what's basically happened is Amazon has become more professional. So you need to have a higher standard to kind of hold yourself to a higher standard, do better listings, build a better product, customize products more. You can't just throw something. You can very rarely now just throw a logo on something and have success. That was kind of 2018, 19 Amazon more like. So yeah, there's more competition, but a rising tide. What was it to say? A rising tide, something all boats, raises all boats.
All boats.
No, right, whatever it is, the standards is higher. Yeah. So like, it's not as easy, no, but you just got to work with what's there now and be better, which isn't a bad thing, right? It's just it's raising the quality of everything across the board. So you're going to be a better business owner in that sense anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about that.
People are just obsessed with this idea of saturation and competition. And if you're doing Amazon on the very basic level of just putting a logo on a product, I mean, you can still have success with that. Like, we're not trying to sit here and say that every one of our products is this crazy customized product. Like, some of our products are off the shelf from Alibaba, nice branding, blah, blah, blah. You can have some success with that, right? So Amazon is so big. There's so many niches. There's so many different types of products to sell that I just don't think it's really worth thinking too much. Is it too high competition? Is it too saturated? The question should be, can you still make money selling on Amazon? Yes, you can. So just go and do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mic drop.
Cool. So, okay, so Boxer and Parmeet, we're having a bit of a chat. Parmeet, by the way, mate, at the end, like I said, we'll talk about Honest FBA a bit more. We're actually, stay till the end, guys, because we're probably going to do a bit of an offer actually to kind of join up. So stick around for that. So Tony from Finland is asking, what kind of outside traffic do you drive to Amazon? Have you collected emails and are you actively doing marketing? So we have collected emails. Within our product insert, we kind of have a bit of an email collection strategy. It's not the easiest thing to do. There's the classic ways of kind of offering warranties, ebooks. There's like, try and get people on social media. It's not the easiest thing to do. And there's a lot of kind of talk around Amazon saying it's non-TOS, like terms of service compliant, but everyone does it. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. In terms of driving outside traffic, we didn't do it for a while, I'll be honest. Like we didn't really focus on it. We think at the start, what people tend to do is they try and do everything at once, and they're guilty of, they want to build up an Instagram page and a Facebook page and a TikTok, and before they've even sold anything. And yeah, that can be beneficial, but fundamentally, like, you need to get your launch right. You need to get sales moving through Amazon, because you're not going to get, that's going to be your main driver, right? You're not going to generate all your sales from external traffic. So over time, we've added it in, and now we've got a bit of a strategy where we are working with influencers within our space. For our next product, which is our biggest launch to date, we are definitely looking at this a lot more. We're going to do a bit of a coordinated effort, I think, with these influencers, kind of all posting on the same day, all driving external traffic. And we discussed today actually about perhaps building a one pager, right, Alex, for the product.
Yeah. For the next one that we're going to launch, yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. So Parmeet said, is it true if you drive lots of influencer traffic to your listing and if it doesn't convert, it will hurt the ranking of product during launch?
Yes. Yeah, this is one misconception about external traffic, is like Amazon doesn't love external traffic. Amazon loves sales. So if you drive a load of external traffic and it doesn't convert into sales, then it's pointless. So all you need to think about is, how can I drive more sales? And Amazon, of course, loves sales that come from an external source. And there's theories that it even gives you more credit for that. So it gives you more organic rank. But if you're sending like 500 people to your listing every day and none of them buy it, then that's just a bad signal to Amazon. It's not a positive signal. So that's why you really need to be careful with the type of traffic that you're sending.
Yeah, exactly. And there's all the more reason why your listing needs to be very good, because if you can go super aggressive on PPC, you can get loads of clicks. If your listing's crap and your product's crap, you're going to get bad data sent to Amazon. You're not going to rank organically, and you're going to fail. So you need to do all these things kind of properly. Bob OJ, I'm going to fly through your question because it's like, how long is a piece of string? It says, I'm 20. How much do you think I can exit after a few years? That completely comes down to your budget. It comes down mainly your budget. Secondly, the niche you go into. Thirdly, the products innovation that you do. So super hard to say. All I can say on that is we've met 10 plus people now that have exited for 7 figures, a couple that have exited for 8 figures. It can definitely be done. That's kind of all I can say.
So
yeah, some for 6 as well. Yeah, for sure.
6 figures as well. There's like we often talk about exiting for 7 figures. But if you've got a brand that's making $150,000 a year in profit, it's not as easy as trying to sell a brand that's making over $1 million a year, because there's less people that want to buy it. But it's still a business that's profitable, and you can put it on websites like Empire Flippers. You're not going to get a 5x multiple on that. But if you're looking to just grow a few products, get it to $100,000 a year in profit, it's very realistic that you can sell that business if you grow it in the right way as well. That's why we talk about branding and making sure you're growing everything in the right way. So yeah, it is a bit of a how long is a piece of string, but it's very possible to do. We already have offers on our brand at the minute. We only started about 3 years ago. So if you start now, who knows where you can be in 2 years' time.
Yeah. Patrick Turner asked, how likely is a product to fail or succeed? Similar to the last question I say, is like, how long is a piece of string? So you can definitely stack the odds in your favor. So as long as you follow the fundamentals, like in terms of doing the product research properly, doing a great listing, doing a great launch, the failure rate shouldn't be like, you can mitigate failure is what I would say. So you can't guarantee success, but you can mitigate failure. And what I mean by that is, if you invested $10,000, if you do all the fundamentals properly, worst case scenario, generally, that we've found with products for us that haven't gone great and we discontinued them, we've always got our money back, because they still sold. They just haven't hit the targets we've set for them. So as long as you do that properly, it's kind of it's more of a, you can never say a safe bet in business, but you could definitely stack it in your favor. In terms of failure success rate, some of the big sellers we spoke to, they generally have about 20% of products might not hit, like we said a minute ago. So they'll discontinue them. It's very, very rare they'll get a complete failure because they understand how to sell on Amazon. When you get a home run on Amazon, you can get a massive home run, or you can get some kind of singles, they say, like medium ones. When it goes for a home run, it's insane. The scale you can get to very, very quickly is amazing. It's kind of unparalleled in e-commerce, I think. So that's kind of the 80-20 is kind of what it is. But the 25% that go home run is just that they're gonna boost your business more than anything else. Arman Ali said, what's your take on bundle listings under your own brand?
Sorry, I was just reading Bob's other one. Yeah, bundle listings. I mean, it's a great way to do cross sales. We're not if you're talking about bundles as in taking an existing product and just adding like an extra product in there to try and make it stand out, we're not huge fans of that. But bundling products together, to be honest, we've done some stuff in ours, like we've done like virtual bundles. We haven't really had much success with them. To be honest, but anything you can do to try and increase your average order value is great. So if you've got products that complement each other, then you can advertise on, you can have product display ads on one product for the other product. We also have on our listings pictures of our other products, and so people can see them when they go on one product, they can see the others. But yeah, anytime you get somebody to click on your listing, ideally you want to keep them there for as long as possible, and you want to increase the chance that they buy anything from your brand. So bundling it is a good way to do
that. Bob's asking, how aggressively does someone have to reinvest to exit after 4 years for multiple 7 figures?
Yeah.
What I'd say, Bob, is the longer you can leave the cash in the business, the better, basically. So I would say if you have a 9 to 5 on the side, keep it, mate. Keep it for as long as you can, and you can get to a really healthy point whilst kind of this. This isn't a massively intensive like 9 to 5 business. It's front end heavy. Product research is the hardest bit in terms of time. Once you're up and running, you can build systems and build a team out. I would say basically, reinvest everything that you can if it's a 4-year time frame. When you get up towards like say like the levels we're at now, we do 2 million this year. Yeah, we can pay ourselves a really nice salary. We would prefer to leave it in the business and put it all towards the exit, because it's going to accelerate the growth and then accelerate the multiple we're going to get. So that's how I'd look at that. Sam Wright said, how long do things typically take to check in? Had 1 out of my 1,000 units check in yesterday, so close the listing and now waiting for the others to check in. Not sure if you're in the UK or in the US. It honestly depends on the fulfillment center, to be honest. So it's tricky to say. Some of them are a lot busier than others. If this is a new product launch, it can take a little bit longer as well. I would say it's very rare you get like 1, 2, 3. It'll go 1, and then it'll be multiples of the cartons you send. So if you send in cartons that have 80 units, it'll probably go, you'll get 240 check-in, which is 3 cartons. So that it'll jump up like that. So I'll just keep an eye on it. Sometimes if you're a brand new seller, it can take a bit longer, because I don't know why, it's just kind of how Amazon works sometimes. But when you're a established seller and it's the same product you're sending in again, the same SKU, it goes through. It can go through a lot quicker that we've seen. Jay Debs has said, hello both. Looking to launch in private label at the end of the year. Is it best to join your course now and then be ready for the end of the year, taking learning and product research into account?
Yeah. I mean, obviously we're going to say join the course now, right? But it's the truth. Like, it's going to take you a while to learn how to do everything properly. So the sooner that you start, the sooner that you start learning how to do product research properly, how to create a brand, the sooner you start, getting your samples, all of that stuff, the sooner your business will be up and running. So this basically, the sooner you can start, the better.
Yeah, exactly. It takes about 5 months to launch a product on average. So it's a lot longer than you think. Before you know it, you're going to be into 2024. So yeah, for sure, give yourself as much time as possible. Okay, cool. Someone said, thanks guys. Tom, hope you had a good finish the race on a good time. I did, man. I got a PB.
He's not shut up about it. Yeah.
Nearly broke 20 minutes. Parmeet said, what's the idea what's the idea behind having a one-pager landing page, which was, I guess, what you meant is that for the new product we're going to do.
Yeah. So what you can do with a one-page landing page is, imagine like when you go on, when there's a new iPhone that comes out and they have this one page where it's like beautiful pictures of the product. Everybody signs up for an early wait list, for a discount, whatever it is. It's just a way again, it's not something that we've tested yet, but because this new product that we're launching is a custom product, we've made it from scratch. We're excited to drive a load of traffic to it, through paid ads, through influencers. So what we can do ideally is we'll have the product and then we'll have like an exclusive discount and then we'll have an email field. And we're going to drive a load of traffic to that page to try and collect as many emails as we can. So then we can use those emails to, when we actually launch it, we can drive all the traffic there. We can remarket to those emails. There's a ton of stuff that you can do once you've got somebody's email. And of course, Amazon don't give you the customer's emails. So that's the logic with it, basically. Yeah.
Cool. Bob said, does an exit come under one brand or can you do it under multiple brands? You can set as many as you like, Bob, basically. So if you have multiple, it's our view is probably you're better off kind of focusing on really aggressively building one brand out in a really strong way to get the highest multiple. Some people like to have multiple brands as a bit of kind of a backup strategy, I suppose. But you can definitely sell. I think people can sell them as, I've heard of sellers selling them as a collective, which is an option, but generally it'll be kind of one brand at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Waji, sorry if I said your name wrong, mate. Waji Hassan, shopkeeper versus seller board. We never got into seller board. We prefer shopkeeper. This is shopkeeper, everyone. We really like this because it's good for YouTube and good for Twitter. We can show our results in this presentation mode with the weird origami animals that Alex can show. So we prefer this. It's also got a great kind of like, it has P&L breakdowns. It has all sorts of information that we quite like. Another tool we use, by the way, is Scale Insights, which we really like as well. Armin said the bundle listings. Okay, so referring back to that earlier question, bundle listings, e.g., you use Sony camera and add your own branded SD card.
Yeah, I think this is more like an arbitrage thing, right? I do know some people that have been doing stuff like this. This is not really our wheelhouse, to be honest. It's not really what we do. We create our own products, our own brand. Yeah, I can't really give you much advice on that, but it's not something we do personally.
Okay, so we've got about four more. We've got about 4 more questions, and then we'll get into our bit of a kind of presentation about what our future stuff is. So Stephen said, what is your guys' end game? You mentioned in a couple of vids about selling up and XXX figures, but then what? Would you rinse and repeat or put the money elsewhere?
Lamborghini. Yeah, I think we've got ideas for a second brand. We want to take Honest FBA to being the #1 training community for Amazon. So we always want to be selling on Amazon. Like, we don't want to just exit a brand and then, we stop selling on Amazon. We really enjoy it. We enjoy building brands. We enjoy developing products. We just feel like, we've been working on this for 2.5 years, and it's really good as an entrepreneur to get like a win under your belt. It's really good to have an exit, a big injection of cash. So obviously we'll enjoy it for a little bit, but we'll be starting up new brands and reinvesting the money, basically.
Yeah. So sorry, one says here. Moji said, how can we get a GTIN exemption? Sorry, GTIN exemption for the first product? I'll be honest, mate. I actually never. So this is my kind of wheelhouse. I never did that, to be honest. We just got we got a GS1 account, which I would advise everyone for your UPC/EAN numbers. Get a GS1 account. Do not buy them from any third party because you can often buy reused numbers. We just had that, and we haven't had to do a GTIN exemption, so I can't help you there, I'm afraid. But I don't think it's necessary, to be honest, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Tony from Finland said, great name, by the way. I love the best name in the chat. Are you using Data Dive? How do you manage your PPC?
We do use Data Dive occasionally. We're not using it actively at the minute, but we do for like new product launches and stuff like that. It is a great tool. There are some alternatives like Keyword Dominator, which we've used in the past and we still use. We're managing our PPC. We have a PPC manager now who uses a tool called Scale Insights. So Scale Insights is, in our experience, the best PPC software. So we don't do it ourselves anymore. We have somebody that manages that.
Yeah. I'm gonna do 2 more, guys, and then I know there's a couple more questions. We'll jump back to them afterwards if we have time at the end. So
yeah.
Someone said, what's the multiple FBA businesses being valued at in 2023? So 2021 was a huge, like, kind of a bit of a bubble, people said, but people were getting crazy exits. There was a massive gold rush in the space, and people were getting kind of 4, 5, 6x multiples, maybe a bit higher. Generally now, the average people say is about 3.5x of your profit. To be honest, I think good businesses, there's a lot of like not scaremongering, but there's been press recently about aggregators going bust and not having enough funding and not being able to run the brands like they wanted to. So some of them will go bust for sure, because they just did a bit of a gold rush and they got attracted to all the attention and the e-com boom because of COVID. Good businesses will always get bought, is kind of our opinion. So we have a friend who has a friend in the Amazon space. His friend got a 7x multiple about 2 weeks ago, which is really, really impressive for an Amazon brand. I'd say as a minimum, if you can shoot for 3.5x is great. I think if you can get 4 to 5, super healthy. If you can get above that, then you've done really well and you've built a really solid brand that's got a bit of a moat around it and is really appealing to a business. But it's not just aggregators that buy brands. There's also private equity firms, and there's other brands that also they say you've got a competitor in your niche, maybe they can also buy you as well. So there's all sorts of options to get acquired.
And just private buyers in general.
Yeah, exactly. The final question I'll do before we dive into the thing is purchasing agreement with a supplier. Have you been using a template or did you have it made by an attorney? Anything you wish you knew? Thanks. So cheers, Spaghetti, for the question. We use we actually have a template within Honest FBA that we share with everyone in the community. So you can use that. You basically just need to check you're including all the requirements. There's probably, top of my head, about 10 things that you want to be sure you include. Things like ensuring they'll replace any units that fail inspection, for example, a production finish date, maybe a penalty fee if they go over the certain date by a point. So you can get to that. Perhaps if you join the community, but you can Google it as well. There's plenty of templates online. Just make sure you're ticking all the boxes, basically.
So Deep. Awesome content from Deep. No, yeah, Deep's watching. I'll dive into the presentation, but Jack, that's pretty cool, man. Jack, I don't know if you follow us on Twitter or whatever, but if you want to drop us an email, if you want to ever come and chat on the channel about your brand and stuff, or nearly selling or whatever, we're always interested in chatting to people. Pardon me. Oh God.
You all right?
Right, yeah. Just, something went down the wrong hole.
By the way, guys, actually, I'll give him a shout out. Deep in the comments, he's part of Honest FBA. He is. We've worked with him for a little while. He's about to launch a brand in about, I think we said June, July time. We'll keep an eye on him. We're gonna hopefully have him on the channel. It's an amazing product and idea, and the branding's class. So we're hoping Deep's going to be 50K a month within the year. And if he does that, it'll be on the channel, and we're talking about it on there.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to quickly fly through this. We've got a bit of a presentation. I mean, we've mentioned some of this stuff already on the feed, but on the feed stream. But basically, yeah, like at this point, we're doing 7 figures, and we've recently kind of shifted to our goal now. We think that we can get this brand to 8 figures. So 8 figures in revenue. We think it's got that potential. So how are we going to do it? The first thing, and this is what we've done with our recent product launch and the next product that we've got coming in the next couple of months, is the niches that we already exist in. We want to take over those niches. So we're building custom versions of our existing products so that we stand out. We've got unique designs, and then we just want to take up as much real estate as we can. So if there's $500,000 a month, that's, you know, the market size in those individual sub niches. We want to be taking up as much of that as we can, because obviously there's a direct benefit of having, you know, multiple products. It just really helps with people seeing your brand, increases your, you know, your sort of market share. Next one that we're going to do is we're going to China. So Tom's going to dive into some insights from speaking recently to a seller that was doing over $40 million a year. But we're going to China in a month, aren't we, Tom? 16th?
Yeah, 16th of June.
I'm looking down because I'm watching the live stream on my phone. But yeah, we're heading to China. Long story short with this is building relationships with your suppliers is super, super important. Obviously, when you're just getting into Amazon, if you're launching your first product, you probably don't have the budget or whatever to actually fly to China. But from speaking to people, you know, that are, you know, doing 8 figures, 9 figures, building proper relationships with suppliers is super key. So we're hopefully going to be going out again in October, but our first trip is going to be in a month.
Mm-hmm.
Then our next big swing, that's an honest FBA flag. That's Tom there when he did his recent Sunday morning hike. We're going after much bigger niches. So one of the things we've mentioned a couple times on Twitter lately is, honestly, there's not that much difference between launching a product and doing $100,000 a month versus launching a product and doing $10,000 a month. It's almost the same amount of work. All that changes is you need a bigger budget. Obviously, sometimes or most of the time, the niche that you're looking to go into, if it's a huge niche, it's going to be more competitive. But more often than not, it's not that much more competitive. And as I said, the amount of work to do it is roughly the same. So we've got our eye on a big niche within our overall niche that if we crack it, it could massively change our business. It could change it in terms of pure revenue. So we could do huge numbers. We're talking about products that have got potential of doing over $300,000-$400,000 a month with individual products. And also products that if we manage to crack it and we get them into our portfolio, it's going to level up the leverage on, sorry, not the leverage, the multiple that we can get at the end of the day. So there's certain products that, you know, increase the value of your business. So these are the types of products that we're going after now. Our brand is still early. We're only 2.5 years into this brand. So we're kind of moving the goalposts a little bit and trying to do sort of bigger things. But yeah, this is one of them, going into much bigger niches that can really increase the value of our brand.
On before we dive onto that last slide then, so just a few comments, Alex, from people. So Parmeet said, a big niche is scary. Aren't you afraid all the money will go down the drain in PPC clicks due to so much competition? And Sam Wright said, is this under the same brand? I'll answer Sam's first. It's quick. Yeah, Sam, it's under the same brand. It's we're just expanding that within the overall niche as much as we can. With regards to Parmeet's question, our big niche is scary. Honestly, mate, we're not really afraid, no, because we're very confident in our understanding of the niche, in our Amazon abilities, and like Alex said, it's no real difference in launching a product that does 10 grand a month to 300 grand a month. Obviously, it's a bigger swing in terms of investment required, and we want to launch properly, right? So we're going to order enough inventory that lasts, that supports an aggressive launch. But as long as you understand the economics, like the PPC clicks draining, like if people click onto our listings, then they should be converting because we built a good listing. We're offering a good product. If you offer a crap product and a crap listing, then yeah, then it's scary because you probably would waste the money. But we find that our conversion rates are good, and we know we can offer it as long as we tick all the boxes, like I mentioned a few times in this call, the fundamentals. Then no, we're not scared. Like worst case scenario, doesn't go exactly to plan, we sell through the units and we free up the cash and we go again. Best case scenario, we get to a 300K a month product that's doing, 60, 70 to 100K profit. And that's a massive boost on our business. Do you want to go to the next slide?
Trying, it's not letting me. There you go.
So I might have designed this slide because it's not as nice as the other ones, but I put this is something that we shared recently in the Honest FBA community. So we do live calls like this, basically every 2 weeks. We get on a call. Anyone can ask what they want, and I threw this together after our meeting with the $40 million man that we referenced to a couple of times. So I'll fly through some of these, and these are some kind of main learnings that we had from the call. So we wanted to share it with you guys today. So number one was quality control at launch. So he couldn't emphasize enough how important this is. And it sounds obvious, of course, but he had inspections all the time. He was doing 4,000 sales a day of one of his products. So the volume this guy was doing was just incredible. He actually had his own people, his own inspectors stationed in the factories about 90% of the time when he was at his peak. And what he said you need to do aggressively is at the start, you need to be very, very strict. You need to explain to suppliers why you're doing it. But the stricter you are at the beginning on your supply chain and on every bit of the manufacturing process, they're going to hold your product to a higher standard. And then down the road, they're going to maintain that standard. You obviously still need to do spot checks, but just make sure you're really valuing that QC, because people and factories, they will cut corners. They will try and save costs. They'll get new staff that aren't great and aren't trained. So just keep on top of it, and it will save you money. Investing in it now will save you a lot of money in kind of heartache and cash. Money and heartache doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean. Tom's out right anyway. Ashton's comment. On that point, then I'm going to rattle through these pretty fast. So don't order around Chinese New Year was something he said. Obviously, you can't always help that, but the reason he said it is because in China, people come from the countryside to work in factories quite often. They'll do like a season in a factory, and then around Chinese New Year is when they actually go home for the only point of the year. So they have about 3 weeks off. So leading up to Chinese New Year, there's a massive demand surge, and they're in a rush. They're in a rush to finish products, but they're also in a rush to leave and go home. So the quality can suffer. Also, just after Chinese New Year, then what new workers come in, because lots of workers don't return because they go to a new factory and they might want to learn a new skill, which turns out really popular in China is self-improvement. So they want to learn new skills. So just be wary of it. And it's all the more reason that you need to do a kind of special QC after Chinese New Year to check that the standards have been maintained. Guanji. So this is, I'm said that wrong. Is it Guanji? Guanji? I don't know, something like that. Basically,
I don't think anyone expects you to say it right, do
they? Someone in the comments write the Chinese pronunciation of that perfectly, please. Basically, what that is your relationship building is paramount. So don't underestimate how important it is to build a relationship with a supplier. It's very easy to fall into a transactional relationship, and we've been guilty of this. And this really made us think about one of the reasons we're going to China is because of this. We want to improve it. They really value this Guanji, and basically the only way you have that is building trust over time and working with them, but also sharing your life with them. It's not a case of just placing orders and getting annoyed at them. It's a case of like share what you're doing. You can even share like what you're doing with your day when you're going out in your city or your hometown. It's about building an actual real relationship, and that can be as well improved by sending gifts. It can be remembering their holidays and kind of wishing them well. So just don't think of it. The way they handle business there is completely different to the West. So don't view it through your Western lens. View it through improving Guanji, basically, is what you need to think about. The mold thing isn't going to apply to a lot of you early on, but ensure if you're getting molds done, you need to have exclusivity agreements. You need to have non-compete agreements in place, which are called NNNs in China. And you need to have the ownership, so they can't screw you, and you can get your mold out if need be. Next one, 2 to 3 main factories in each niche eat 80% of the pie. So what this means is, it's pretty self-explanatory, but within a particular niche, there's generally 2 or 3 factories that produce pretty much everything. And then there's a load of other factories that compete for the scraps. So you want to really ensure that you're finding these big boys that can handle the kind of quantities you want to go for, but also are going to have the better quality. They're going to have the better machines, the better staff as well. So try and weed them out. And you can do that through on Alibaba. You've got to work out, are you dealing with a factory or are you dealing with a middleman, a kind of trade company? So you want to spend a bit of time ensuring that you're dealing with the right people. Next is factories talk, don't screw any of them. So even though a lot of them are rivals, they they still have, there's gonna be friends in each factory. So workers work in one, they got friends they see in another, they go to the same bar, they talk. So if you happen to screw one in some way, then you're going to kind of lose respect with other companies. So if you want to get, for example, payment terms in the future, you can make it very difficult for yourself because it's known that you are not a trusted businessman or businesswoman within the ecosystem of that product. This one's a bit more granular, isn't it? The RFQ thing. But what this basically means is when you've got scale, you've got leverage. So if you're not getting the terms you want, you can do something on Alibaba called an RFQ, where you bang out, you kind of scan it, and it'll ping everyone on Alibaba who offers the product that you want. That word very quickly trickles through to your main suppliers, and then you might then have better terms or prices offered to you. We've then got 2-year vision on each product. Is we've seen with a lot of products on Amazon have got a life cycle, but you don't really want to be thinking about a 3, 6, 12-month plan. You want to think 2 years. So, and to get onto the next point, the 6 months launch cycle is the longer you can view a launch period as not trying to make profit, the better. So particularly in competitive niches, you want to go super aggressive because you want to get aggressive as you can. You're going to get the more keyword rankings there organically, and you're going to stick the landing. So if you look at it as a longer term project, plan out your cash flow and the projections much further than just the launch, and always view it from that point of view, because every move you make is a long term move, and this is a long term game to build a legitimate business. Now I'll skip this starving outcome tech. That's just like basic. Be afraid of like big people in big niches, big companies. They can afford to starve you out with pricing. So if you haven't got the budget, don't compete against massive Chinese companies, for example, because you're not going to beat them. And the very last point I'll say is how important reviews are. And what was interesting was he said when he took a product from 4 to 4.5 stars, sales doubled. And then 4.5 to 5, they completely doubled again, which is just like an incredible uptake. So obviously you can always want to push to get the best reviews possible, but there really is massive difference in the amount of sales you're going to push through.
Good tips. Cargyle Sauce, you must be like the first hater in the comments, if I'm interpreting that right.
2019. We weren't doing Amazon then, so I don't know. But no, we're not, mate. I say like he said that you're teaching stuff you learned in 2019. No, I'd say, mate, because you learn as you grow, and the business model changes, and as we learn things, we share it on the channel. So you can go back and see things we said in 2020. They probably aren't true now, because if we were saying those things, we'd be shit. So no, they're not what we teach. Everything we learn as we grow, we share. We
teach what works with our own business that we've just shown you right now. So
yeah, exactly. Which is why we think it's important that you need to be selling on Amazon to offer coaching, basically. And you need to be selling, but actually being successful on Amazon. Because if you were successful in 2019, then yeah, perhaps your systems and in knowledge is a bit outdated now. Jonathan Chapman's asked, what we'll do, we'll do a couple more questions, probably like 7 minutes more, go to 20 past.
Yeah, fair play. The hair is terrible.
So do you have any thoughts on using sourcing agents?
Yeah, we've not had great experience with it. It's difficult because a lot of them they don't want to reveal who the factory is. Like, so we worked with one, and when we were like, yeah, can we get the details of the factory and stuff, they didn't want to do that. So we know some people that use them. We know some people that just say don't bother with them. We don't really use them. We have tried to use them in the past, but yeah, our experience hasn't been great. You've got to think that they're always going to add obviously their cut to it. And if you don't get direct access to your factory, that's a big problem, because you don't know where it's coming from. I think there's this idea that they can get you these amazing prices, and I don't really think that's true. Maybe what they can do is help you get quotes from like 20 different factories really quickly, so you can get an idea of price. And if you pay them just to do that, then maybe that's great as a means to an end. But for actually getting the products and building a relationship with factories, I think it's just better to do that directly.
But they do have good inbuilt Guanji. I've read recently in a book. So that can be an advantage if you want to. I think at scale, they can be pretty useful, to be honest, if you're launching a lot of products. At the start, I think you should be speaking to suppliers yourself as well.
Joe Davies, represent.
Oh, big Joe. We interviewed Joe on our channel. If you want to see, if you're into SEO, then he's your man. But as interesting interview with him, you want to see our live podcast that we did.
Yeah.
So
RJ
said use the real McCoys.
Kind words.
Eshan said Alex bring out the BJJ skills. And RJ said always learn something new on your
Cargile's
content.
getting a rear naked choke.
By the way, I know I'm lit up weirdly now because my light blew just before the call, so I'm now sat kind of in the dark. So that's why
your face just looks like mega red on my little screen.
Gleaming. I'll be honest, I think I got sunburnt yesterday when I was playing at paddle, so that was good.
Stood in front of the microwave.
Right. Any final questions? Fire them in now. Should we dive into our kind of honest FBA then?
Yeah, we're gonna do a shameless plug for the course and community. And you know what, Cargile, if you comment on it, man, you're getting kicked. I'm joking. You can comment all you want. Look, yeah, like we're gonna plug the course. So anybody watching this, if you want to join the course and community, you can get 15% off. You know, we think we're the number one right now for teaching people how to launch products on Amazon properly, doing it the right way, where you're building a real business, a real brand. So yeah, if you're interested in joining, you can book a call with us. You can ask us some questions on a call. Drop us an email, hello@honest-fba.com, or go to honestfba.com, where it's got a dash in it as well. We should probably change that, shouldn't we, Tom?
We're gonna update it, but there's quite. Or I'll tell you what. As well as that, like live 15 will be a discount code. We'll say. So, like, as in YouTube Live, we'll go live 15. If you DM us on Twitter or something and say you watched it, that's how we'll know you've watched it. So you can reference that.
Yeah. Bob asked this question. Sorry, Tom. I keep looking at you. I keep looking at you on the phone there, and you're still chatting, but you're not actually chatting, so it's distracting me. So Bob asked this question before. I just wanted to quickly answer it. So, how long does it take to master the craft of selling on Amazon? If you join Honest FBA with the 15% discount code that we've got on there, no, just kidding. It's going to take you a while, right? But what you've got to think about is Amazon FBA is a chance to build a proper business, right? So think of this as like, if you really want to build a proper business and make some serious cash, you should think of this as a 4 to 5 year journey. So obviously you're not going to start and be an expert in a month, but within 6 to 12 months, you know, you can have a one product live, maybe 2 products if you've got the budget. You know, if you do that within a community where you're learning from other people that are ahead of you, you're going to learn much faster. Can you do it on your own? Of course you can. You know, we did it on our own early on. But yeah, you're not going to become an expert overnight, but I would try and shift your mindset a little bit from thinking about questions like that and just thinking about, what do you really want? Do you want to build a business that you can make good money from your laptop? All of these things are true. You know, it's not fake guru nonsense, but you've got to put in the time, because any real business takes time to build.
Yeah. That last Sam's question was just to confirm you are not brothers. No, Sam, we're not brothers. He is Northern, I am Southern. We just happen to look alike, and we'll probably get asked that until forever, basically. So yeah, we're not brothers. And RJ, did you do research on paddle when you first started? I assume you mean on not how to play. I assume you mean on Amazon. Yeah, I did have a look. Anything that I get into or I find interesting that I see, I get in the habit of checking it on Amazon, because you'll probably be the same. You just can't help it. So yeah, it's an interesting niche. I like it. It's growing. It's exploding around Europe at the moment. It's been big in Barcelona for a while, in Spain, sorry, but it's getting to the UK. I think it'll get to the US. I think niches like this are great if you can get ahead of the curve. Pickleball's big in the US now. There's brands being built around that. But yeah, I think I love niches. They're not flash in the pans. This is the trend. Like, you know, people are building permanent structures, paddle courts. It's not going to be around for a year. It's going to be a niche that keeps growing. And if you can catch a wave early, then yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I was convinced you were brothers when you first came on Twitter. Yeah, exactly, mate. Everyone is. Tony said, thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Cheers for coming, Tony. Appreciate the questions. Everyone that's asked questions, we really appreciate it, guys. This is our first YouTube live. It won't be our last, actually. We really enjoyed it. If I can speak for Alex. We like talking shop. This is what we do every day. We kind of talk nonstop to each other. So, yeah, we'll definitely do more of these.
Thanks, Ehsan, for the kind words.
Community is the best. Oh yeah, just read Box's comment. I guess it's better. You know, the other people within the community are better explaining it than we are. They're getting the most value from it. So yeah, cheers for the kind words, mate.
Sweet. Shall we wrap it up, Tom?
Yeah. So this thing on screen now. This is on as FBA, guys. So you can see top right, book a chat with Tom and Alex. The community side of things is scale. This one in the middle. As you can see, we got like over 170 videos. Don't panic too much. This is new to you. They're generally around 3 to 6 minutes long. We try to make the course very digestible because we know people can drone on. You don't want to hear too much of us. Alex, I can't say anything. I can do it off the top of my head. It's fine.
I'm just showing inside the actual course here, so you can see the different modules and stuff.
It's built in modules. The idea is you can go through step by step at each point of the process you're at, kind of on your Amazon journey, up until launch and then post launch as well. We also have, like I mentioned, the community side of things. So we have a Discord, which has been great. We started on Facebook and realized we were very out of touch with young people, like we think we are. So we're now on Discord, which is great. So about 80 people in there, you know, sharing ideas, sharing product ideas, even sharing knowledge and contacts and suppliers and all sorts. So it's been great building it on there. And like we said before, we do these live calls as well. So you've got access to myself and Alex. If you want to ask us questions like you have today, then you get that benefit as well. Cool.
Yeah, boy.
All right, I'll let Parmeet's been rattling through the questions. So I'll let him. I'll finish off with this question. Will you ever launch a product competing with Anchor? That is a very specific question. No, I wouldn't compete with them because they're worth about $2 billion. So no, I think that'd be a difficult one.
Yeah, it's not really our sort of niche.
Maybe we exit for $1 billion and we can start a new brand there perhaps. But yeah, for now I wouldn't say so. Yeah. Exactly.
All right, cool. Sweet. That was good. I mean, over an hour and 20. So thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, really appreciate it. Appreciate you showing up, asking the questions. Appreciate the kind words. Appreciate
subscribe.
Our semi-hater as well. Wasn't really that bad, was it? I'm just being a bit dramatic.
We done well. Criticism. You guys that have followed Alex for a while, he goes on a rampage sometimes, and he's made himself a target. So I think we've actually escaped pretty well in this. But if you don't follow us, guys, we share. Obviously, at YouTube, subscribe to this. Twitter, we're active every day. So at The Honest Tom and at The Alex D on Twitter. So give us a follow on there. If you want to talk shop, drop us a DM. You want to talk about joining Honest FBA, drop us a DM. And yeah, keep coming back for more. We'll see you in the next one.
Adios.
Cheers, guys.
Soros is coming for me. Yeah, he's going to have me, the bastard. Love you,
Soros. See you guys.
Bye.